Fuck you!
Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working on Eclipse Judgment, When Is Our End, and hopefully we're going to pass the hump today. Yes, today is the goal, to pass the hump, otherwise known as get all the powers done. After the powers are done, everything kind of fixes itself, because really after that point, it's just the bonds, which the bonds aren't really going to be too difficult, and then we have the deviations. Deviations isn't going to be too difficult. Then we have the advancement. This entire section is not going to be very difficult to do. It's really just the powers that are kind of the sticking point, you could say. And we did pretty good last time. Now, if I hit the button, we did pretty good. We got the entirety of the Mystic Art. I did put this in. As you can kind of see here, everything kind of got put in here. Added some artwork to make things a little bit nicer. I did add a little bit specific note on the nature of the idea of domains. Domains are kind of a weird thing, and I kind of left it as a side note because it's kind of a weird idea that some GMs are simply going to be no. So that was just kind of a me call more than anything, but generally speaking, most everything else has been added or kind of fixed up in some way to make it a little bit easier to kind of work with. Let's see, is there anything kind of big? Is there anything? As you can kind of see, I also did the artwork. Artwork. Also, I would like to thank SpinTech21 for following. Thank you very much. Generally speaking, one thing to learn about novel AI. All right, kids, let's learn about novel AI here real fast. I like novel AI personally. I think it works pretty well. But I am going to say this: if you type in the words "small breasts that aren't comically massive" or just comically F-cup size, you will get a child. I do not know why. It's like, God, fuck, no. I don't know why novel AI has this desire to be like, oh, you want, like, no, please, no, novel AI. That took me like 4 generations of like, oh, no, just nope, get away. Yeah, so just bear that in mind. You have to finagle with novel AI to get what you want a little bit. But yeah, generally speaking, this did turn out pretty well. This turned out okay, not perfect. I think the mask looks a little bit funky, but I didn't really want to fuck with it too much. This turned out okay. Again, the eyes get a little bit funky around here, but it worked. I was looking for. That was all the artwork I ended up doing outside of this, which just looks really silly, so I needed to keep it. Did add this as well, kind of just a visual thing, just to make life easier for people. Another bit of this. I have realized that if you type in Shanxia, it does pop up some very interesting things. So bear that in mind. This turned out very well. I do not know, again, novel AI does not do eyes at all. Do not touch eyes in novel AI. It will break and you will feel miserable doing it. My only assumption is that if you deliberately try to get a certain kind of eye, will it do better? That's my theory. What I think it's trying to do is add a bunch of eyes together, so it just layers on top of each other, so it makes it look a little bit weird. It just looks like this woman's crying more than anything, and that's fine. I mean, that works. So you kind of see here, everything looks pretty decent. But yeah, today is finishing powers up. That's kind of the goal. If I can get the powers done, I have succeeded. Will I get the powers done? Very different. Yeah, this is kind of the idea of this is the foundational. Like, this is explaining every single one of the powers in a little bit more depth, kind of get people to understand them a bit more. Generally speaking, I did actually put in 5 different power sets. There are the basic ones we kind of already gone over, which is martial arts, mystic arts, and weapon arts, which is just punching people, magicking people, and using a weapon of some variety. There's also miracles. Miracles are kind of the weird one. I have a few ideas how I want to handle miracles, but none of them really want to work perfectly, so that's kind of a up in the air kind of moment. The final one are called enlightenments. Enlightenment is solely breakthrough tech that's also kind of a GM tool to give players superpowers. That's the entire idea behind them. They aren't strictly meant for players, they are meant for the GM to give a player a power of some variety. The kind of the issue with enlightenment very much is that it does not actually use chi, or it doesn't use any cost it burns karma. Otherwise known as it increases your karma up, which is a kind of a dangerous thing if you don't want to suffer deviation too hard, because if you suffer deviation, suddenly you are at a severe disadvantage. Yeah, that's kind of the ideas there. What we need to do today, actually, is we need to get the metal section done, which is weapon arts. We've done the water section, works pretty well. You know, water, the art of spiritual manipulation, kind of this is all the mystic arts and things like that. I think the mystic art works well. This is going to be the hard bit right here, is the warrior's way. That's going to be kind of the gap today, as well as changing destiny, is the miracles. Once those are done, we're pretty solid. We're doing pretty good. So let's get to it. Generally speaking, now luckily this is everything when it comes to actual like combats, like actual like weapon art stuff. So I don't need to worry about that too much. So let's get to it. Pretty much that's all I can really say about the matter. Let's see. People some eye candy, I guess. Surprisingly, kneeling turned out pretty well. I don't know why. I have a feeling I know why, but I can't say it because that's bad. Metal, sacred bond between weapon and warrior. Oh, weapon arts define a bond. Actually, weapon arts are a close on a close to, how do I want to word this? It's a spiritual link between a Jia and a weapon, primarily formed from their heart to defend them and their enemy and defeat their enemies. These weapons take on many forms, but they are fundamentally tied. They are fundamentally tied to the Jia and no one else. A Jia can freely summon their weapon while transformed at any point. Jia can freely summon their weapon while transformed at any point, or have it fly back to their hand, or fly back to their hand. These two weapon or wielder are one and the same. If disarmed, the weapon must be picked back up. Picked back up or resummoned. So should Azia possess multiple weapon art? Capitalized. Should Asia possess multiple weapon arts, they can only summon one at a time. They can only summon one at a time. They can only summon one at a time due to the strain on their soul, which is going to be the value of having different equipment. You're having different perks and stuff that allow you to keep multiple things out. Give their weapons art to allies. They will act as just a weapon rather than the they'll act just as a weapon rather than the carefully attuned tool. Actually, tool rather than the carefully attuned art piece. Actually, how do we want to how do we want to word this? It would be pretty much the idea is that, like, I can hand you my weapon. I can hand you this. I invested in this weapon art. I can hand you this, but they just have the base variety. It's not really yours. This is your, like, this is a tuned thing to you. Rather, actually, a carefully attuned bond. So you can give their weapon. Can give their weapon. To their allies or have their foes steal them, but they will act as just a tool rather than the carefully attuned bond between the weapon and the Gia. Should a Gia should the Gia, because technically it does count as both a plural and a specific. Should the Gia uncover a weapon art? Uncover a weapon art. Cover a weapon art. Then they will need to attune. They will need to not attune. They will need to bond with it. They will need to bond with it to unlock its full power. To unlock its full power and abilities. Pretty much saying, if you do a breakthrough and you get a weapon art, you need to actually, like, you can find the magic weapon, but that magic weapon's just going to be it's just going to be normal until you kind of bond with it a little, unless it becomes your weapon. Spiritual link between fundamentally from the heart. So first things first. This here. Not exactly the most elegant thing in the whole. We want to do that. It's weapon type. Based weapon type. That up to the first thing the Gia must do is determine the nature of their weapon. Determine the nature of their weapon. What is it? What can it naturally do when alone? If the Gia weapon is used again, if the weapon is used by a non-bonded individual, then it will default. It will default to individual default. Martial art. Technically, I'm going to put a footnote here. Technically, the fists of the Gia. That's the incorrect one. 0225. Gia is a weapon. Is a weapon, and can be freely edited. It can be freely edited. However, do bear in mind that you cannot give your martial arts to someone else. So not give your martial arts to someone else. You can, but it's extremely dangerous, and will probably kill you. Yeah, there we go. It's like, oh, technically you can do it, but don't. Yeah, that's. It doesn't have fast or anything. It's just the idea of, like, this is art bonus damage. Technique cost, though, doesn't have anything there. We go here. Capital lowercase I. Ow. I don't know about you guys, but I think Russian doomer music really does fit the common writer aesthetic. Let's see. So we want to do current damage. Actually, we want to do call it increasing damage. I should explain each part. The bonus damage reflects the raw bonus damage of the weapon dictates how much additional damage is added to, and how much additional damage is added to the attack. Ranged weapons can only add their bonus damage. Ranged weapons can only add their bonus damage to ranged attacks. Actually, should I add ranged as a tag? I think I should add ranged. We'll just make it hellishly expensive. We'll make it hellishly expensive, so people aren't like, oh, I want to pick up my melee heavy weapon, or my like heavy melee range or whatever. So that's not really a thing that you can, but you shouldn't. Ranged weapons only add their bonus to range attacks, while melee weapons can only add them to melee. Tags are specific features and quirks of the weapon. Now, should I give examples of the different weapon categories? Half of me wants, half of me doesn't. I'm like, this should be relative. I want to be a little bit open-ended about it, just because I think that'll be a little bit more fun. Being like, oh, I have a light melee weapon that could be knives, or a little club, or I just have like a big ass sword that just doesn't do a lot of damage. That's all it is. I think this should be fun. Maybe not, but it'll do. The commissioner asks about it. It's simple to do. Increasing damage. Actually, should the should the Gia wish to let's see, how do I want to word? He is able to increase the bonus damage of weapon by personal additional bonuses. This is ranked out of the current damage of the weapon, meaning that if increased beyond it, then all subsequent increases will cost more. Then we add in this. Dun, dun, dun. Da-na-na-na-na-na-da-da-na. What's this? Lato 10. Lato 10. Put there. Middle. Center. Click here to make that. Column size. We're going to make 2. That makes you 1.2 as well. Can we shrink that to 1? Shrink you to 1. We can. Go team. Yeah. Wait. No. Fuck. 11 plus at 13. Otherwise known as it's just really fucking expensive at that point. Like, it's not really worth it tier. There we go. We slap an image right there. So I'm gonna put it in this sample. Odd to kind of talk about. So for example, if wishes to increase their light melee weapon to 4 damage. So that would be 1 to 2. For 4 damage, let me just do this real fast just to make sure if I want to go from 1 damage to 4 damage. So it would be 1 to 2. 1 to 2 would be 3 points. 2 to 3. 2 to 3 would be 3 points. 3 to 4 would be 5 points. For a total of 6, for a total of 11, for 11 technique points. Total of 11 technique points. No. Keep things as simple and easy as possible. That's all we need. Now we get to start adding tags. Oh boy, everybody, get ready for tags. I do sure love tags. We will do. Luckily, it seems everything is. Description, we do technique, points, add all of this together. So it can only be used while in power/chin transformation. Combine untransformed Shia. Add a new one in, which is going to be called Split Soul. Two or actually Split Soul. The weapon can be summoned alongside another. Weapon. We'll make that about 5. Technically, we need to add range to this as well. Range. The weapon can be used as a ranged weapon. And we're going to be doing that for 7. 7 is that'll be one of the highest cost one. Be the second highest cost one, just because it goes through all our armor points. Easily hit person. Concealable isn't really that big of a deal unless you're doing very specific things, but that's fine. We're going data filter, data remove filter. Now, are you ready to play my favorite game, kid? Hey, kids, ready to play my favorite game? Otherwise known as wrangling the fuck out of this? Oh, that's not supposed to be. Technically, these are all slightly fucking different. Okay, desperate times call for desperate measures. We're going to select this. We're going to go over here. Select all of this. Put it right. All of this. Come on, work with me, baby. Right here, I need. Why? No, I don't need you to do this. Why do you keep trying? Why do you keep trying? Oh, it's because you're God. Linked. Something. This. Oh, that's a lot. That's oomphy. Let's do. Right here, we want this is us adding tags. I can make this like 0.8. Not gonna get. It's gonna matter. I can make it a 1. Make that 1. We make that 1. We make you 2. Really fucking tough. 2.5 maybe. Yeah, 2.5. Because if we do 2.5, what we can do is start doing this. Okay, so we extend you. We extend you out to 3. It's only 2 pages currently. But if we give it its own page, it does run over. So that means you're gonna have to take the nuclear option. So you're not. Why are you so awkward? Let's take the nuclear option, bring it down to 8, because if we bring it down to 8, that means everything is there. We just have to do so. Yeah. Okay, let's look in it. Oh, god damn it. Oh god. Hmm. Adding and remove. Adding and remove tags. Edit the feel free to edit the nature of the is free to edit the nature of their weapon by adding or removing certain tags. These allow the to change the not nature what am I looking for here? Fuck. Gia is free to edit the nature of their weapon, adding and removing certain tags. These allow the Gia to change the flow of their attacks, and what they are freely able to do with them. Also allow do this, put everything on a single tag, so we can put everything will be adding tags. We do this, and then we go up here. Have heavy and two. We do have two. So generally speaking, so if we want to do this, so we put two-handed there, we put heavy here. Then we have to put fast here. So if we want to remove them, we do something, actually, if we do something like that, and then we do like negative, and then we just this. Is there any other tags that we could theoretically switch out? Technically, you can remove ranged. I don't know why you would want to remove ranged, but you definitely can. Not going to get a big refund out of it, but it's like, yeah, you want to turn your ranged weapon into a non-ranged weapon, then I can't stop you. I'm adding it for the sake of completeness. I have no idea why anybody would, in their right goddamn mind, would ever do such a thing. But if I don't add it, I would feel like I'm missing something. And sometimes that's all you can really... You can't protect people sometimes for being stupid. So there we go. Increase their initiative. So yeah, it's like I can remove the idea of adding two-handed tags, and that brings to pretty much it when it comes to how weapons are made. Weapon arts aren't really that... These are not supposed to be terribly complicated. Let's see, if I do this, that means I can bring everything onto one page effect. I want to make this just like 3 pages. Split it up and put a big image. Split it up and put a big image. Actually, here's what we can do. We can put this here. Put this here. Oh, that makes increasing damage really. This is increasing damage. We put an image right there. We do this. If we want to make this very precise, we do that. Maybe not the most elegant solution, but it is a solution. We slap a big image right there. We slap an image right there. We add a real thin one right there. kind of round things out, get a good idea of what's going on. This is kind of how you make a range. This is how you make weapons. Not many options to make weapons, but that's not really the point. The point is that we're not supposed to be making a shit ton of weapons. That's not the core idea of the game at all. This is a benefit. This brings me to... Alright, Warrior's Way. Let's fucking do it. I'm gonna turn my light on because it's very dark in my room. How do I do this myself? Bad, no bad. Okay, so how do we want to do this? So, okay. With the Warrior's Way. Let's see. Aegean martial arts is the refinement of their abilities. His refinement of their abilities and skill at combat Many martial arts in the cultivated worlds can be exotic and bend the nature of the world around them. However, in the uncultivated worlds, these martial art simply enhance the powers of the skills, allowing how do we want to write this? Yeah, there we go. Okay. This is where things start getting complicated, because it wouldn't be a fun time if things weren't complicated as fuck. So I'm gonna double check something, make sure it's gonna be my luck. The commissioner's gonna immediately, I'm gonna look at my notes here and be like, I don't want any of this. I do not wish for any of this. Luckily, the commissioner's actually been very nice about things. He has been very consistent and very, very supportive. I do thank him a lot for this. It's been very nice having him. What? Okay, no, we don't need that. Don't need that. Consider the per round basis where the Manima idea popped up because the system where you win the round initiative, but you just too fast for the opponent. Next round. Okay, everybody, good news. We got a new... Generally speaking, Mr. Miller has been very positive about things. We also have this guy. We got another game on the cycle of things. Hopefully everybody's ready, because we got another game to terrify. This is the second one, actually. Fun fact, it's been very beneficial ever since I put my name on that list, actually. So, Don't worry, everybody. I'm a professional game reviewer now. Go professionalism. I'm very professional, if you can't tell. Let's see. Oh, fuck, how do I want to do? So, generally speaking, there's three ways of doing this. Either we can try to make, like, them to be pseudo, like, mystic arts, which is the idea of, like, you're building these piecemeal. Like, here's the thing you want to do, here's how we do it. Actually, no. We treat it like Gai's thing. Because in Gai, what we did was, we go to Gai, the unofficial tabletop role-playing it. Very unofficial. If we do here, the idea of technique building was this, is that you take an action and then you change the nature of the action. Which had its own, it had its own strict set of ideas and concepts in it. The issue was how the way this game was played, how this game was kind of set up was a little bit different. That we can't do it the Changsha method because the Changsha method had okay, so we have the different phases. So generally speaking, let's just really take a think here real fast. We have our attack, attack ranged attacks. We have our defending action. Let's do the idea of, like, you have to tie it to an action of some variety. You tie it to an action, you're good. That's the entire idea. That allows you to do these things. It's the idea of you using the Zen technique. So first things first. So if we're designing a move, we have to determine whether it's going to be a Zen technique or it's going to be a Katsu technique. What I'm probably going to do is, like, the cost is going to be 0 for Zen techniques, but the Katsu technique is going to be a little bit... Unless we do it the idea that strictly right off the bat, if you choose to spend Zen, it's going to be a Katsu. Versus choose to not spend, not going to be. So it's all about whether or not you want to spend Zen. We use Zen as the main currency. So if we go under this idea, we use Zen as Zen is the currency. So Zen techniques build Zen, but Katsu techniques spend Zen. So things are going to be naturally so Zen techniques are naturally going to be higher. Naturally going to be higher cost, simply because you can't offset it as much with the Zen. So first things first, we have to do... these are our Zen techniques. Notepad killed Notecoin. Rip. Maxi design. No, Notecoin is still around. I just need you all to pay in. Notecoin had noteflation. We need to fix noteflation, guys. You don't understand. We are in an economic recession. Notecoin means nothing anymore. That's why you have to pay the central reserve. Ah, scheiße though. Why aren't you working? Why are you not working? What can we do with an attack? Let's just really think about it. What can we do with an attack? Basic just fucking attacks. Because the simple idea, the thing is, it's pretty simple if you go under the idea of, like, yes, attack. You can then do things like increase damage, increase range, increase, add X, add Y. Like, that would be the easy option. I really don't know what to fucking do here, because a lot of this just isn't. Perform multiple actions at once. Additional to a favorite additional action. When you technique must be able to perform the action. Use technique, add a flat amount of power behind it to strike line. Damage, status effect, ailments, targets, increasing the number of targets with the ability, increasing the range of it, then adding like fucking effects. Like, this isn't work though, because this isn't. I'm not looking at. What am I thinking of? Yeah, pretty much what I want to do is I want to add in martial art, like martial art techniques, a bit like that. Let's just do martial art techniques, TTRPG. What are we really looking at here? I need martial arts. GURPS martial arts, first thing that pops up every fucking time. Legends of Wu Lin, impenetrable to loot. System weapon of the god uses. Feng Shui 2, no nods toward any attempted realism, that's fine. Axiana, not OP, but this is, but I'm definitely going to find this system. Wanderer's Romance. Wanderer's Romance is a very interesting beast. I don't know if I like Wanderer's Romance or not. I like the idea of Wanderer's Romance, and I think it's a pretty good one-shot system. Good solo RPG though. Art of Wuxia. Oh, gee. Technically, we can. We are allowed to do this technically. Let's go to Wandering Heroes of Ogre Gate. Let's open this up. Because in Wandering Heroes of Ogre Gate, what you are actually allowed to do, this is a freely open thing that you are totally available to do, which is funny, and I always will cite it. Right, fine. Because every single one of these is actually free. Like that. This is the thing, is this is an entire section that you are freely able to use. So, like, for example, it would be like Gust of the Fan Blade, light melee against evade. Not against the evade of every infected area on a success. Create a gust of one. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. I need something to build my own kung fu. What would be a good thing to really even fucking cite in this? Because in Chengxia, let's like using just like another thing that I've done before, because that's something I can immediately reference. The idea behind the moves is that you have very little of these, and it's a very specific way of handling things. Because that's just how the game is built. What the game is built around. Based off of these keywords as well. This is actually a relatively simple game when it comes to combat. It's mostly just about maneuvering and... Really what you want to do is go and study whatever martial arts you're adding to the game, real or fake, and then give special options depending on the character skill level. Here's the... Also, I got a 5 minutes ago, I have to pay Notepad, so give me 1 second. I had to run a 60-second ad. Now, this is the problem with it. This is the fundamental problem. We're not dealing with wuxia martial arts. If this was wuxia martial arts, I could kind of do things with it. This is Shanxia martial arts, in which is like, I do my flowing heavenly god strike where I fly across the map and kill everybody because of my sword is my body and bullshit like that. Like, cultivation stuff gets weird. Like, it goes way farther beyond just simple martial arts. So I'm like trying to give it like... I want to keep it open enough that people can allow to do things with it. That's like the one thing that I'm a little bit worried about. Because I don't know if I have enough to really work with it. What am I really thinking of? What do I really want with this? I want people to do a rider kick. How do I design a rider kick? Rider kick would be attack. It would be attack melee, range 2, so I can attack anything within 2 tiles or 2 spaces. Range 2, increased damage 2. Execution, Zendam, and then like Zendam or something like that. So it's like, the entire idea is like, that's what I want to be able to do. Like, design your own personal martial art by virtue of using these. We have very few things though. So is it okay? We gaming, we're thinking. We gotta build everything around the rider kick. That's the plan. Again, we can't use Kung Fu Hustle. That's the problem. Kung Fu Hustle isn't literally intense enough. That's the problem. It's arguably too grounded. So actually what I should be... Leaps in the air. Dump. Rider kicks. We use the idea of this. It sounds ridiculous, but if we use the concept of the rider kick to do how we're gonna base everything off of, we can't really base it off of... Looks ridiculous, however. Okay. God, it's been forever since I watched Kung Fu Hustle. Fuck me. I should rewatch. I should rewatch fucking Kung Fu Hustle. It's been... Yeah. See, the problem with, like... It's weird. Here's the problem. This is like the fundamental issue. I'm trying to make cultivation shit. Cultivation stuff is weird. Because it's not about martial arts. Not about martial arts in the way you like we think about them. It's not I'm not using kung fu or something to beat the shit out of someone. It's like, oh, give me a second. I'm going to like ride my sword and I'm going to use the sacred trigram technique to break your spine with my cock or something. Shit gets so wacky. And not like wacky as in like, oh, this is, kind of funny or something. No, it's wacky as in just fucking ridiculous and deadly serious at the same time. It's not about martial arts necessarily at that point. That's the problem. Not about doing like kicks or anything like that. It's about heavenly dragon emperor style, cock blaster or whatever. That's what it's about. That's the issue. It's really dumb. It's about the power of the soul giving you super abilities. Yeah. Well, she's like, yeah, I just posted. Yeah, no, it's like that, and I don't want to get completely fucking annihilated, so I have to watch in another window. And I don't want to get flagged too immediately. Yeah, it is Kung Fu Hustle, isn't it? It is fucking Kung Fu Hustle. How the fuck do I do this? That's the problem. It's like, how do you do this? Because Kung Fu Hustle is fundamentally a funny movie. That's the issue. It's a funny. How do you replicate this in a tabletop game? Unless you go into like weird story game territory. You go into weird story game territory, then it gets a little bit weird. But then that defeats the entire fucking purpose of the game. Yeah, no, that completely breaks the combat. That ain't how the combat works in this game, and I don't want to rewrite the fucking combat. The only thing I could do about it is like transformation sequences, but then transformation stuff is the own thing. But we can do transformation stuff, unlock more and more powers. We can do stuff like that. Unless we tie it to Zen. Unless we tie it to Zen levels, but then Zen is a spendable resource that you have to do stuff with. Exactly, it's like DBZ, like yeah, like fucking DBZ. Because raw basic ideas. If you want to do a key blast, and I just mean a basic ass key blast, you're going to be having a mystic art, you're going to do damage, you're going to invest in potency. So if you want to do like a basic key blast, you're going to say, hey, I want to do potency 2, damage. That's it. Maybe increase, I would say it's going to be potency 2, key blast, and it would be full battle map. So that would be a total of 1, 2, 9. Actually, you could probably bump it up to 3. So it'd be 3, 7. So that'd be about 10. 10 and cast. That's it. That's how you do it. If you really want to do just basic key blasts. What you do then is probably do imbued martial arts and just key blast everybody you dislike. Or find out some other way to reduce the cost dramatically. And that works pretty well. Okay, no. It's a Zen. If it's Zen, we break it down to Zen techniques. Zen techniques versus Katsu technique. Zen techniques have no cost, but are more expensive. That's the issue. Because Zen techniques don't have a cost. You just need to make the check. How about Naruto? Fucking Naruto. No. Because what I want to do is I want to create a rider kick. That is the ultimate final goal of this. If I can create a rider kick, I've succeeded. If I have not made a rider kick, I have failed. So, first things first, we need to define right away something very important. I have something to reference. Going to actually, we don't need any of this. Why do I have any of this? Go away, all of you. So, first thing we need to reference is we want to work on Zen techniques first. What are we able to do? First things first, we have to decide what we're going to actually doing. Our basic actions in combat. Our basic actions in combat are here. Generally speaking, we have attack ranged, attack, melee, defending, focus, maneuver, other, partial transform, which partial transform I don't think we can do much with, and then we have Zen Tech. So these are our basic actions. These are our basic ones. We have okay, no. We can do three things. Let's do three things. Let's just define something right now. Zen techniques. Zen techniques tied to a Zen action, higher base cost. Zen techniques, higher base cost, but no Zen requirement. That's the issue. There's no Zen requirement. However, Katsu techniques tied to a Katsu action, tied to any action, lower base cost, Zen requirement. Pretty much, you have to have a certain amount of Zen. You have to have built up your combo effectively before you do this. That's the key thing. We go here. Zen techniques allow you to execute, allow you to refocus, and allow you to seal. Katsu actions are very important. You always are tempted to spend it. You only have 7 Zen to work with. And you have to build it up. 7 actions you have to do, and you're always wanting to do things, including refocusing. Refocusing is very important because that's how you heal. If you take a lot of damage, you're fucked. So, okay, so think smart. Lower base cost, so just technique cost in general. So if we do this, we can also add in something like no, I don't want to add stances in. Fuck, we're not adding stances in. That's what I'm thinking of. Actually, you know what? We use this, but we also go to our favorite game, Fists of Chaos Beast Mode. Yes, maybe this is the right option. Maybe I'm overthinking this. I think I am overthinking this a bit too much. Tension cost, attack die. What modifiers are we looking for? Do we look at something like this? Just add shit in. Just add shit in. That's all we need to do right now. This needs something to work off of. Defensive die, required limbs, modifiers, all bodies, fades. Hyper. Yes, hyper armor is actually, so actually we know we can do offensive, defensive. We do this because hyper armor in these games are stupid. That's the idea. We want to add some more like that. Stances allow you to grab basic ideas. Unless we do stances. We add stances. Do we add stances? Are you familiar with Eternal Darkness? No, I am not. Let's Google Eternal Darkness fast. You mean the fucking GameCube game? That you're gonna reference like, oh yes, Eternal Darkness secretly has the most in-depth karate system ever. No, no, not really. Specifically the spell casting. Yeah, that's where you have to combine. Okay, so it's like the idea you have to combine things together to do specific things. Because that's what I ended up doing in Fist of Chaos, is that the idea you have to do that. Let's... Do we add stances in? Fuck it, I think we're gonna add stances in. Stances. I think stances which are... There we go. These are our 3 ideas. Because the entire concept behind a stance is... Stance bonuses grant you things. Because these allow you to do things by virtue of being in that stance. Stances are... The problem is stances were usually very expensive. Fist of Chaos. So if we're using the basic concept, so... Zen techniques. First major thing we can think... Let's just think of modifiers that we can do. Basic things we can edit. So if we go here, we're not looking for anything else. All we want to do is find things we can change about whatever. First thing first, damage. Damage is kind of an immediate thing we can understand. We can also understand bonuses to strike. Bonuses to strike. Maybe we can change the combat die. Maybe we can change the combat combat skill check die. Maybe you want to do that. Maybe that's something that you want to do. Engagement of the enemy. Engagement of the enemy, because being in the engaged state means you can only target them unless you have a very certain kind of weapon art. So maybe we can tie something like that. So with your engaged enemy or something like that. So ranged weapons, range. That's a pretty big one. Range weapons. That's a major bonus. Retaliation strikes. Retaliation is a very important thing too, because retaliation means that you can retaliate. In melee, this is automatic. You automatically retaliate in melee combat, which is the idea that technically you do a roll-off in melee. I'm going to punch you, you're going to punch me, and we go in there, whoever wins actually delivers the damage. Someone is going to get hurt at the end of it. You rush up to each other, you bap each other, and you bap each other, and you fucked or you're not. Let's see. So defending, unless we actually, how do we want to word this? They attack that round. No. What does hyper armor do? Let me remind myself what hyper armor does, allowing them to negate X striker moves damage. Reduce that. Because defending themselves from the assault. If they attack that round, they may re-roll the failed opposed combat skills. Zen increase. That by itself is a valuable thing we can maneuver. We can movement's a very important thing we can do. We already had kind of have that, but it's an important thing we can do. Form a stunt with a feature of there's an answer here. Well, transformation state's going to be one I have to worry about regardless. Is there anything in here that I'm missing? Attributes, transformation stages. Actually, what we can do is we can do actually, no. What am I thinking of? What am I thinking of? Come on, no. Come on. The idea of sealing. So with a Zen V equal to lower sealing abilities, that's an important factor. That's going to be fucking hellishly expensive, but it's going to be important. We can also do. You're not going to get chi healing in this one. That's kind of the problem. You can't really restore yourself very well in this. Solving it and paying its cost. Minions, minion rating. Be something with armor points. Restoring your armor but not your health. Maybe we can do something by manipulating our chi to kind of burn our chi to do something else to reduce the cost down. So burning health to do something, for example. Transformation state's going to be a very important thing. Maybe we can do something to influence our initiative value. No, we can tie that. I know what we can do. We can tie that to stances. Boom. Nice and easy. Weapon tags, maybe? Maybe we can tie something to weapon tags. Maybe we can tie something to number of actions. What else are we looking at? What else can we... Karma increasing. Karma is also going to be a factor we can think about. Combat style. Let's see, is there anything else reference? Because we have dice augmentation. Have no, okay. This is it. This is what we have to work. This is literally everything we have to work. So first things first, we want to increase. Let's just say, for example, we just want to do increase damage of an attack. Damage increase. We're going to be tying these to very certain attacks and things like that. We just want to do a raw damage. What we can do actually is we can base it off of to keep the correct flow going. We can do something like this. Do the current damage, just increase the raw amounts of damage that we do. If we're doing a Zen technique, mind you, if we are doing a raw Zen technique, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. That's an important fact. Unsealing. We don't really need to worry about unsealing. Sealing is going to be a very particular thing with enemies. Because monsters are going to have a lot of effects and things like that. You can seal them to do that. That's kind of the idea. We don't really need to worry about unsealing in that regard. That's going to be my thing there. Like, this is really only for enemies. You only need to worry about sealing. You don't need to worry about unsealing. And if that is going to be a case that you need to worry about unsealing, something very wrong has happened. Something is going wrong. Click on that button. Apparently, this is a style of music referred to as trauma core. So, or is it 1v1 battles? No, it's multiple. The main goal. Enemies cannot seal. That's going to be a big thing. The big idea is that it's going to be multiple. It's going to be multiple cultivators versus plethora of fucking minions. A plethora of minions plus monster/lieutenant. You want to seal the monster and lieutenant abilities. This is the balancing factor. The monster and lieutenant have a shit ton of abilities that they can use to fuck your day. So you want to kind of you want to kind of deal with them a little bit more actively, and you're going to do that by sealing. Am I stealing this almost directly from Kisnight? Yes, I am. But enemies cannot seal you. You can seal enemies. That's kind of the idea. We don't have to worry about that very. Because you're cool and you're powered by God. They are not. That's a very important factor that we have to factor that actually. So let's do, if we treat this as the non-Katsu, we can bump this up by 2 across the board. We bump that up by 2 across the board. That means we can bump it up to like this. So it's very expensive to do that. But Katsu techniques, on the other hand, because you have to spend, you're going to be spending more by default. It's going to be a little bit cheaper to get that higher power level effectively. But again, you have to burn Zen, which is going to take time you may not have. So current damage. So okay, so we've just got the most basic concept of current damage. What else do we need to worry about? Bonuses to strike. Oh, cool. Bonuses to strike. So we just want to do bonus to hit technique. So we want to do maybe, if we base it off of like punching the fucking bullet back at them. That's the idea. You're paying for it, kind of thing, though. But we can actually increase that up to 6. So we already have the retaliation attack. That's fine. Okay, so cool. It's fine. We don't need to worry about this. Zen increase. Zen increase. 1, 2, 3. I'm only going to go up to 4. So you always have to perform at least a single action. But the cost is something like this. Doesn't seem like it's like a, oh, well, this seems like a, actually 3, we'll do 3, 6, 9, 12. If we do 3, 6, 9, 12, you're pretty much burning points for virtue of being able to do something else. The issue being like you're burning points that aren't really doing much for you directly. I think just raw increases your Zen, but you'll never get all the Zen you need. That's the thing. Because if you don't get all the Zen you need, that means you can't just straight up like, oh, I just gotta combo a bunch of my moves together and get a fucking free heal or whatever. I don't want that. Movement. So movement. That's a pretty simple one. We all like movement. 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 Tie it to Eclipse Judgment. Current. One space, 2 space, 3 spaces. Technique points. We're going to make this pretty cheap, but the cost is exponentially higher. So that's, we increase it by 3, and then we're going to increase it by 4, and then we'll increase it by 5. Because the idea here, actually, no, we do, so this is engaged movement. However, if you're doing techniques and you want to bypass, you're doing that idea, it's going to cost you a little bit more. If we do 2, 3, 4, 5, this is going to be 3, 6, 10, 15. 1 up. Do we do, actually, no, we do 4, 8. No, actually, no, 4, 7, 4, 7, 11, and then it would be 16. We increase it by 2 instead. Because what this effectively means is, if you do it the idea of engaged, you have to obey the engagement rules. Which means you can't move away from somebody, and they can't move through you. Because that's one of the big things, is that you can't really move past. It's kind of like, okay, if they're really aggressive on you, you can't like move past them at all on the action map. It's kind of a problem. Bypass, on the other hand, allows you to. It's, you use the technique, you're about to move past them, which is very good. That's you know, either kicking the guy behind him, which you're behind him now, but you're there. That's a very valuable technique. That's something to allow you to get past enemies or enemies you. Okay. We're thinking, we're gaming, gamers. Transformation states. So transformation state's gonna be a pretty easy one to think about. So we want to do this. We want to put this, which is transformation state, which we're going to do technique points. I don't really have a better name for it. Untransformed, which is going to be 5. Standard transformations is 0. Strong, it's going to be our power transformation, and then finally our Shin transformation. Going to be negative. We're going to say -3, -6. So what this effectively means is, even if you are untransformed, you can actually use these techniques. That's why it costs more. It's It's going to cost less if you can't actually use it unless you're in your power form, unless you're in your Shin transformation, which is valuable because of the partial transformation technique action. So if you partial technique, if you partial transform, you now have the ability to use this technique for this round. So maybe the valuation gets a little bit nicer there. Instead, the valuation's a little bit nicer. Actually, we can probably do something along with 6, -8. Actually, would that be maybe something like this? The sealing abilities. See. No, we're not going to add sealing. Sealing's a big thing. We have to use it for the minion rating. Do we really use minion rating for anything? No. Armor points. Actually, we can use armor. various things that you can to edit your fucking moves. Yeah, okay. This is easy. Okay. Here's all our various things. Here's all our offensive, defensive stance. Not going to worry about stances for right now. Those are going to be their kind of their own thing at the end. So, there are going to be tags. Body chains. Fast. What techniques? Good. Elemental. That's fine. Gory. We can work with that. Long range melee. We can work with that. Piercing. Cool. Stun. Cool. Transform. Pendant. No, we don't need to worry about that. That's sort of in there. So here are adding range wouldn't be terrible. Adding just raw range. Putting that. Put range. Cool. Technical. We're gonna call it something different because we need to. But stun is going to be pretty reliable. Don't need to worry about it. Graceful could be. No, we don't have graceful. We do number of target. We added that secondary thing called number of target. Okay. Piercing is going to be important there. We add long range melee in. Yes, we'll add long range melee in. It's just the idea of being able to use different things. Cool. Easy enough to understand. We you. So let's get down to business. So this we'll just do this technique. I already have something like that. Elemental. This technique. Fast. This technique. We don't really have trigger multi-target. We're going to add in. We have move trigger mix up. What does a mix up do exactly? Can use two. Can target two locations. Mix up. Have something like that. Actually no. This technique. A keyword grab. This technique grabs the opponent. Grabs the opponent. Fireball. You don't need to worry about fireball. Fade. This technique allows the as this is Gia. To move Crippler. I don't need to worry about crippler chip. This technique. This technique. Only be using the second action in the round. All body. Technique can only be used as the first action in the round. Those tags don't need to necessarily be a good or good. That's the issue. They don't need to be good. They simply need to be technique. Add fast. We can do Alan. This technique decreases the user's initiative by -2 on the next initiative. Initiative phase. Elemental. This technique has an elemental affinity. Glory. Well, what else can we call better name? Bloody. Let's see. The weapon increases the GSN by 1 for each defeated enemy, which is I feel important. Stun. Inflicts stun. Technically inflicts stun on a target. Haha! Deals double damage to an enemy's aura or armor points. Where's Chip? Will always deal at least 1 damage to enemies, not aura. It would be long melee, which we can. There, the technique. Engaged. This technique can be used to attack targets in locations. Engaged. How do we want to? Do you got anything for me here? The technique. Killer. The technique gains a +20 bonus. Gains a +20 bonus when targeting a mini enemy. What am I thinking? What am I thinking of? Come on, give me something to work with. I have to move, mix up. You can be rolled once. This technique can be rolled once. If it fails, you'll pretty much like you can automatically try to do it on purpose. Actually, the technique can only be used if in a particular location. Battle map. Probably want to. Okay, so if we do description, we do technique points. Can only be used. We'll do like three. These aren't too bad. These 4. A 4 grab. We'll say 5. Mix up can be re-roll, which is already kind of something you do, so it's not going to be that bad. Fast increases by initiative. Let's say it's going to be 3 because these are going to be reduced slightly. Off balance is 2. Elemental technique has an element affinity. We'll say 5 body for each defeated enemy. That's going to be a 6. That's going to be a 4. Techniques, stun. We're going to say that's going to be a 6 because good. That's also 6 because that's good. Long range melee. 4 point blank shot. We're going to say that's a 3. That's going to be 3 minion killer. Yeah, that's going to. Minions aren't really a threat. This is literally designed if you want to like murk a lot of minions at once. Actually, we can do 10. We'll do 10 with the idea being like can be taken multiple times. We'll do times 3 each. Location dependent. We'll say that's going to be a -2. It's going to be a -2. It's not really that big of a deal because that's simply the behind it. Okay, so we've got our technique. So we've got our tags. Worry about these because we've got there. We've got all movement, our ranges. Movement, transformation states. We got our armor points. We got the ability to burn chi to do things. Actually, you know what I can do? Do chi burn. A chi burn. The technique burns away the chi of the burns away the chi of the Jia. Burns away the chi of the Jia. Negative, which is going to be -1 for 1 E. Okay. Now here's the secret. Now we're going to take all of this. We got to take all of this shit. Grab everything here. Control C. We're going to put you right here. Put you right here. Everything here. There. Here. We're going to here. Right now, I'm just putting everything where it gotta be. Just put it somewhere else so I don't gotta look at it. Number of actions. Number of actions were. There we go. I think that's fair. So we've done that. We've got everything here. This one, you all there. Put you all at the very bottom. Then what we get to do is we get to select every single bit of this. Roll C. We get to go over here, and now we get to do the Katsu version. So if we treat it as if general in range, we do like 2. I think doing like 2, 5, 2, 5, 8. No, 2, 4, 6, 8. That's fine. Why? Because this is a cost. There is a cost associated. Do not think about it too hard. We'll increase it by like. Increase it by 2 each time. 7. And degrade armor. This is fine. You're still going to be burning the same amount. Strengthen armor is going to be the exact. This is the same. Combat skill bonus. We're just going to bump this down to something like a little bit more manageable. Both ends. That's the idea as well. So we go from 3, 5 to previous 4, so maybe we do something like 3, 6, 9. Retaliation attack, that's fine. Range attack, that by 2. Zen increase. What we have to do, Zen cost. All of this is always going to cost you at least a little bit of Zen. But if we move this down a little, 6, 7. We want to consider this to be, let's say 4 is our baseline. Actually, treat 4 as the baseline, dead middle. So we can do something like this. Because if we do something like this, that's going to enable us to. We certainly have a better idea of numbers. Because the numbers are adding up a little bit more. That means by default, people are going to need to spend at least 4 Zen to do this. That's 4 actions. You have to perform 4 Zen actions before you do. It's going to be minimum turn 3 for if you're standard transformation. You can probably do it if you do get a turn 2 if you do it full, and that's fine. But that's like you have to kind of do a power transformation and burn a lot of actions doing things if you aren't doing anything else. So about there, and it's very expensive to not do that. Transformation state. We're going. Transformation state is actually a non-factor now. Because you cannot build Zen while untransformed. Of actions. Do we want to keep the number of actions in place? Because yeah, I think that you are the ones that wonkier. We need to reduce the cost down. Let's see if we reduce the cost down by 1 across the. Does change thing. Just change the numbers slightly. Probably bring chip down a little bit more. Fade down a little bit more. That down. That's fine. Rest. Stunned by one. I don't want to change that too much. So here's our Katsu technique. Okay. Katsu techniques are done. I didn't think they were going to be too difficult because it was just getting the initial bits done and then changing it here. This does bring us to stancing, which we need to do. Stancing, on the other hand, right up here. Stancing. All stancing does is grant you a series of modifiers with some problems with stances choose with. Add modifier if we basic fire checks. Yeah, no, so so we want to do. Ooh. We do the technique flat check about the skill combat skill checks checks while stance. We're gonna make that flat fucking 10. That's actual 12. We're going to be a 4, 6, 8. Grab resistant Gia cannot be grabbed. By a particular element, cannot be a element. We're gonna the grab resistance is going to be out. We're gonna say grab resistance is going to be 8. Elemental resistance is going to 4, but can be taken multiple times. Actually, we're going to do element. Stamina gain. We don't have stamina gain. Actually, no. We'll do Zen focus. Zen focus. The Gia gains 1 Zen during. Actually, we'll say during the recovery phase. During the recovery phase. Wow. which we're gonna make a flat 5. Tension gain. That's kind of like tension was kind of their health, and that's kind of like a bonus ability that you had in particular. Zen's its own valuable resource, so we don't really worry about it so much. Actually, we can bump that up. We'll do let's see, cannot defend. Defensive combat skill. Cannot use their defensive combat skill attribute. So you just have to roll a raw D100. You don't get any bonus to it. Hey, what did I miss? Me going insane. Me just going completely fucking bonkers. Goddamn game. I'm able to go on defense when I will use. Actually, we can. Closed palm cannot use their offensive combat skill attribute. Well, actually, we'll do closed palm. We'll do giving palm. Then we will do unable to perform any grabs. So movement. Rock and stone. Unable to move. Have kind of the giving palm style open. So we this would be no, it would be we want the idea of this one to be like you can't use any basic attack. You have to use techniques. All of the problems along with it. So that would be like martial obsession. Must use only techniques. Proof pacifist, unable to cannot attack or defend. Cannot attack or defend oneself. Not attack or defend oneself. 0 actually. Style. Cannot retaliate in melee attacks. Cannot retaliate in a melee attack or ranged attacks. Very specific situations, but yeah, you cannot retaliate at all. Cannot actually not use. Stamina recovery. Instead, this is going to be Chi Inferno. form. Brilliance, strike. Distance, flowing form, martial brilliance, armor. There, do you get it here? What other problems? Advance penalty. Add in another one, which we need. Transformation pendant must be in power transformation, power slash shin transformation. You use this stance. Okay, we did it. So we've got all our things here. We've got mental focus here. Violent strikes. We want to bump this up to be pretty expensive because it's very good because you just get to add a raw 1d10 to all your damage. Doesn't seem very impactful except when you realize you're going to be doing 2d10 damage or 1d10 damage. For range attacks, that pretty much doubles your ranged ability. So wide open. We're going to reduce this. Let's say something along the lines of 4, 5. Unable to perform any grabs. That's not really that big of an issue. Should do. Sparrow method, which the idea is Sparrow, you don't pick anything up, you're not grabbing on anything, you're always flying around. Rock and Stone Brother, you're unable to maneuver. These are going. I'm going to reword all of these. I just need to get them down. This is pretty fucking bad because you can't move around. This is really fucking atrocious because you literally cannot use any techniques during the next level. Like -5. Portal style cannot retaliate from a melee attack. Chi Inferno. This is bad. You're going to. Martial Obsession cannot use basic attacks. That's not bad. True Pacifist. This is the absolute worst because you can literally not attack or defend yourself. Transformation, which is going to be. I'm going to do -4, -4 or 6. This does actually. Of Mystic Focus. This is the chi cost of Mystic Arts by half, which is going to go for 10. So you need to buy it off with something. So, for example, let's just decide on a. Let's make a stance. Let's say we have 15 points. Say we have 15 points to make a stance. So, the first thing we want to do is maybe we want to do, I don't know. We will say Martial Brilliant. We'll say Martial Brilliance 2. That's going to cost us 6. We pretty much get, as long as we're in here, a +20 to our. We get a +20 to all of our pretty much all our martial art attacks. Pretty much all our attacks while in this form. This doesn't seem very. It's just like, yeah, but that's also just your attacks, nothing else. We're down to 9. So we also want to do. Let's just do Violent Strikes. Violent Strikes for 10. So we get a plus, we just get a 1d10 to all damage, and then we're going to do something for like I know we can do something like turtle style, which is the idea that hey, during turtle style, we cannot retaliate. That gives us a free. We have 3 points to spend. Is there anything we really want to spend it on? Absolutely not. So here's our style. Congratulations. For a grand total of 12 points, we are allowed to build this particular style. Now we know it would be 13. No, 12. Yeah, for 12 points, we have built this style. We cannot retaliate during attacks, but we do a shit ton of damage, and we are pretty reliable at hitting people now. We're going to probably have to spike our karma a little bit, but done. But we can switch in and out of it. I could probably bump the cost up a little bit. I want to bump the cost up of this. Just I think that's. So if we do something like that, 6, 8, 10, this would make this 8. That means we'd have 14 points. So it's not as tempting because you still have to buy it off. I have a feeling a lot of people would go for I think a lot of people are going to go for stances. Unless we really spike the cost up. Yeah, I think spiking the cost up. Let's increase it by about bar elements. We can increase that to actually we'll keep that at 8. We'll do something along the line of we'll do 8, 10, 12, something fairly linear. 12 points there is our okay, we need to make a move. We need to make a Zen technique now. Zen technique. Zen technique, and we're going to give ourselves 15 points to work. This is all we have. And this is going to be a, what's going to say, a melee attack. Very simple melee attack. We want to increase our damage. Let's say we want to increase our damage. We want to do +1 damage. We want to do +1 damage. Doesn't seem very much, but it's going to cost us 5 fucking points. Shift our combat skill die. We don't really want to shift all our combat skill die stuff. That's not as good. So we've got 10 points left. We want to shift the range up. Yes, I want to shift the range up by 1. +1 range. 3 points. So I attack someone from a distance away. Technically, it would be 2 or adjacent. Pretty much gives you long. Which brings us to movement. Actually, no. We want a rider kick. This is. We want. Yeah. Let's do a Zen technique. 15 points. We want to do a rider. Rider 3-hit combo. Punch, punch, punch. We want to hit someone 3 times. We can't increase our damage at all. Range, it's going to be within engagement. We want to move it all. I don't think we want to move it all. We want to do greater and strengthen our armor. No, we do want to get a +20 to hit. +20 to hit for an 8. That brings us down to 7 points to work with. And is this a retaliate? Nope, we're not going to be able to retaliate. Not going to increase our Zen at all. You can do it in standard transformation. Number of actions, it's only going to take that. However, we're going to make fast. For 3, we're going to do a mix up. Even if we fail, the attack, we still are able to do it, which we're probably not, but it's nice to have a guarantee in that regard. So that's 6, so we're down to 1 point. We need to I forgot. Plus, so first one, multiple targets, is going to be obviously 0. We're going to say 5, 10, 4, 8, and 12 plus every single. We just do 12. So for every pound pass force, 12 here, which the cost is going to go down by half, but that's pretty good. And then multiple targets that we have to do multiple number attacks. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 3 plus. 1 is going to be 0. 2 is going to be a raw fucking 10. That's going to be 15. So it costs quite a bit. Get like different numbers of attacks in. This is using effectively one action to do more. This one's going to obviously be reduced to something like this, so the cost down quite a bit. So we want to do 3 hit combo. 6, 12, I think is the correct number. Because if we do that, that means we can. Oh no. Fuck. Okay, so 3 hit combo. So we want to attack 3 times. 3 times. It's going to be 6 plus 12. That's going to be a total of 18 points. We are at negative fucking 17 now. We're going to remove our 20 to hit, by the way. So we are refunded back 8 points. So we're only at negative 9 currently. Only at negative 9 points. We can say. We can say it degrades armor. Degrades armor 5 for negative. So that brings us down to -4. We remove the mix-up. That brings us down to -1. Have anything to reduce? Okay, no, we can then we do make it all body. Do it all body. So this has to be the first thing you fucking do at the beginning of the round. You have 2 points to burn. For 2 points, is there anything we can do for 2 points? No, but we can buy off 2 of our armor, so we can do something like this instead. So for 15 points, let's crunch my numbers here fast. So that brings us up to 18. Yeah, that's just perfect. So I swing up. I go for you first round. I'm engaged with you. Bang, bang, bang. I hit you 3 times right in the face. I lower my armor by 3. I've taken 3 damage effectively. First action, I have to do it. But next round, I get a +2, and I hit you 3 times. 15 points. Okay. Now, we want to do our Katsu technique. And we want to do a rider kick. We want to do a rider fucking kick. Alright, and I'm going to give myself 15 points to work with as well. 15 points. 15 points seems to be pretty. I want 15 points to be kind of averaged out. So we want to increase our damage by +2 damage, which is going to be 4 to 11 points damage. Oh, we don't need to really worry about that. Range is we're going to do +1 space because we want to be able to attack someone behind us. So that's going to be 2 points. So we're down to 9 points. Let's get all the positives out of the way. Movement is going to be one space movement, which is going to be bypass movement. 2 points. That brings us down to 7 points. Bonus the combat with you 6. We're going to get a plus 22 combat skill. 6. We're going to say it's going to cost us 5 Zen. It's going to cost us 5 Zen, so we get a little bit of our points back. So that's, let's see, 15 points. 10, 14, we're at 1, but now we're back at 4 points. Doesn't need us to be in power transformation, doesn't require any number more actions. We're going to say we're going to have the mix-up technique. We're going to have mix-up in case we fail. Shouldn't, but in case we do. Let's see, is there anything? We can say this is going to throw us off balance. -2. And because of that, we have a 3 in there now. And because we have a 3, we can then do something along the idea of... We can do bloody. We can do bloody for 3, which is the idea, you know, if we'll increase our Zen by 1 if we actually manage to kill the enemy. We kind of refund a little bit. Costs us quite a bit, but we're allowed to refund ourselves. So this is our rider kick. We do +2 damage. So, for example, our basic melee attack. This is going to be a melee attack. You gotta remember that. This is a melee attack. Whoa, rider kick. You know, we jump up, we do that. We can move 1. We bypass movement so that we can attack someone behind somebody else. We don't need to, but we can. We get a +20 to our combat roll. It costs us 5 Zen to use. If we fail the roll, we can still mix up. We can still re-roll for free. We're going to take a penalty to our initiative now. But if we kill the person, we refund our Zen a little. So we might spend 5, but we might get 1 back if we defeat the enemy. So this is a big execution strike move. We really want to kill the enemy using this. And we are kind of dumping a lot of points into the idea of attempting to do such. Even if we only kill a minion with it, we still get something back. This is our big finisher for exactly 0 points. So this is exactly 15 points. It works. Jesus. I feel like I'm missing something, but like at its current state of affairs, this should work. Stances are a little bit goofy, but stances will work. Okay, that took a lot longer than I had planned, but here's the plan. Here's what's going to happen. Tonight, I am most likely going to fix everything up and going to put everything where it needs to go. Once everything is put in where it needs to go, we'll be fine. It's just going to take some time to do that. Then, what I'm going to probably do over the weekend is get the things like miracles finished up, and then next week we're going to blitz effectively. The first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to do the relationships. Relationships and deviation are going to be Monday, and then Wednesday I'm going to make the grand attempt to do advancement. Kind of the idea, like it's going to be advancement in the GM section. That should be the end. Friday we can spend, if there's any fixes that need to be done, we can fix it then. But I think we crossed the hump. We can ride or kick. We can do things. Little bit wonky, but it'll work. Okay. I'm going to call it there for everybody. Thank you all for watching. Tomorrow, do not forget, noon EST, we're going to be going over the curious case of Ura. So get ready for some military autism. It's going to be a fun one. Thank you all for watching. Godspeed, good luck. I'll see you all tomorrow. And have a nice rest of your night, day, or whatever time it is. We live in a meme. All right.